the screw lurking out of the machine?
That? It's, nothing. Yes, nothing. If you think it's anything, you're a suspicious moron.
Hey guys, it's Bill Smith back for another quick update. I want to catch you up on something that I think is important. I think it's actually extremely important, but I think it might be missed in the mainstream news. I think people are just going to kind of glance over it, but it caught my eye, so I want to tell you about it. In a Q post yesterday, so today's the 28th of January, yesterday I saw this, I kind of glanced across it, and I didn't really think too much into it. But I saw this line, it says, "Why are movies made to glorify past true events?" True being in quotes. And it brings up a conversation that I'd like to just express, I guess, tell you about if you're not already knowledgeable of this topic. So, this is a movie that just came out. It's Dunkirk. I think it won an Academy Award or something. It was an important movie. It was really good. I watched it, but it's boring. These people are stuck on a beach. They could get wiped out easily. I mean, there's just no reason. So people talk about this. This is a famous moment, and they don't understand why Hitler didn't just decimate the entire British army. He could have just crushed them right then and there. War could have been over with. But he didn't. He let them leave. And that brings up a lot of interesting questions and topics, but I'm not going to go into that. But I am going to approach this new headline today, which says, "Israel and Poland in a row over Holocaust bill." Now, if this is news to you, okay, check this out. In a lot of different countries, it's illegal. It's illegal, punishable by jail and fines, to deny the existence of the Holocaust. Now, I'm a truth seeker. I've gotten to a point where I feel like I'm an expert on this stuff. Now, in the spirit of debate, an idea, and looking for truth, you have to have free exchange of ideas. Now, if someone says something didn't happen, then that's a good opportunity for me to present them evidence that says, no, it did happen, and look at all this evidence. When I've looked at this, it just doesn't seem like there's much evidence that it actually happened. But there's a mountain. People have written books. There's a mountain of very, very reasonable evidence that says that maybe this stuff was overblown and it didn't actually happen the way that we're told it was happening. Or we were told it was happening. So it says right here, is like, he's saying, "The law is baseless. I strongly oppose it. One cannot change history, and the Holocaust cannot be denied." Fine. Okay, but that's not what they're saying. No. Poland is just saying, come on, right-wing dominated, whatever, adopted legislation that sets fines of a maximum 3-year jail term for anyone who refers to Nazi German death camps as being Polish. And so, I mean, Poland is just trying to protect themselves from the nightmare that's occurring over in Europe right now. And they're just saying, look, it's German camps, okay? It's German Nazi camps. Stop calling them Polish death camps, because we know where this goes, okay? And most people aren't going to do any research. We just know what we're told in school. So I'm going to move on here quick, and I'm just going to tell you that this is what's happening right now. Poland's trying to defend themselves against wrong speech and being able to speak out about things that actually happened in the past. Here's some information about it, and right down here, we're going to take a look at something like this here in a second. So this is Haaretz. This is a Jewish magazine, and it says right here, "Israel blasts Poland's Holocaust bill. We cannot allow Holocaust denial." They're not denying the Holocaust. They're just saying you can't call them Polish death camps. We were not the Nazis. We were under Nazi occupation. We're the victims. You can't re-victimize us. Okay, we didn't do it. And then here you go to the right. Death camps weren't, quote, Polish, but Poles were bad enough to Jews without them, Holocaust historian says. So they don't have a leg to stand on. Okay, and they know they've just been caught, and a country is now standing up for themselves, and they don't like it. They don't like it. And let me just say something, all right? Listen to this. If something's true, okay, if it is objectively true, then you don't need to make laws against denying it. It would just stand on its own as a truth. And you hear this in the news today. We hear like the climate stuff. It's like we've gotten to a scientific consensus. That sounds like a lot of opinion to me. That doesn't sound like fact at all. So when you start getting into this kind of stuff, my ears perk up, and yours should too. So this is what I'm talking about. So Wikipedia just comes out and says, you know, it's the genocidal killing of 6 million Jews. Okay, even the Holocaust Memorial has revamped their magic number down to like 2.2 million. The reason why go look up the 6 million number. Okay, this is important to Kabbalistic Jews, and that number had been brought up in mainstream papers like the New York Times back as early as like 1892 or something. So that number had been around for a long time. And they still won't... 6 million people didn't die, okay? It just didn't. It didn't happen. Maybe some people died, okay? But Hitler had like 150,000 Jews in his military. Nazi Jew soldiers, foot soldiers. So I have a ton of questions around this. I just want straight answers, and I don't feel like I get it from our current media. Look at all these countries. Okay? Australia, Austria, Belgium, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Czech Republic, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, and on and on. The list goes on. Every Western nation, okay, over in Europe, that doesn't have protections against free speech curbs, has laws against speaking out against this. You can't even deny it. And how you want to see how seriously they take this? Look at this. Okay, this guy's a football player. He wears a shirt. Fined 50,000 euro. They fined him $65,000. I guess some people that supported him went and put some stickers up. So they take this stuff really, really seriously. Now, I'm going to talk about the only two things that I can see that prove the existence of the Holocaust are the death camps, but the biggest piece of propaganda that we're all subjected to in school is the Diary of Anne Frank. I think they've sold 4 million copies of this thing. Now, this is the Wikipedia article for it. I'm going to skip down. They have a little section about authenticity, okay? And I looked up both of these, and they don't really say much. You can't really get to it, okay? But what is interesting and very telling from this Wikipedia entry is what is missing from it, okay? Now, let's watch this. So this is the reason why it's extremely important that people not question the Anne Frank diary. And this is from annefrank.org. And there it is right there. This is the reason why it's so dangerous to Israel that this diary, okay, this forgery, this hoax, the Anne Frank diary, is not challenged. Because of that highlighted statement right there. In this way, people try to undermine the state of Israel's right to exist. They get it. I mean, Israel banked their entire we should be here moment after World War II on the fact that people are anti-Semitic, we can't trust white people, Europeans don't like us, and we need our own country. So give us our own country, which just happens to be Palestine. So give us half of Palestine, or most of it. And then look what happened. So it all comes back to the Anne Frank thing. That's why they really, really protect it. Now, there's some stuff missing, like I said. This happened. This is a famous court case. It's really difficult to find this on internet searches, okay? So go look this up on your own if you can, but this actually happened. Now, Meyer Levin is Jewish himself, and Otto Frank was a German. Now, this court case says that Otto Frank had to pay Meyer Levin $50,000 because he stole the Diary of Anne Frank from Meyer Levin. Now, as important as this is, okay, this is the glue that holds the whole thing together. If people know about this court case, okay, no one's going to believe the hoax book, and then that undermines all this other stuff. I just want the truth. I don't care. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Someone show me I'm wrong. But I think someone other than somebody aligned with Israel, someone with a Jewish background who's studied the Talmud, someone other than them is going to have to give me some evidence. Like, I would accept evidence from an American Indian who's done their own research. That. If I get evidence from Israel, then I can't trust it because they have a vested interest in this conversation. So this is important. So check this out. Meyer Levin. We'll go back to the diary book. We're going to look up Meyer Levin. Now, you would think the thing that I just showed you would be important enough for this to tell people about. I'm telling you about it because I think it's the most important. It's not even listed. I mean, down here in further reading, he's not even in here. And it says, An Obsession with Anne Frank, Meyer Levin in the Diary. And I bet that this book written in 1995 is going to tell you that, you know, that court case didn't happen or Meyer Levin's crazy. But I can tell you this. He won that court case and he was awarded $50,000. And now they're trying to say, I mean, I don't want to go into it. You can go do your own research. There's a lot more here to look at. I can tell you that. This is a lot more stuff about it. You can go look this up. A lot of this stuff is buried. I mean, it just is buried. And here it says the New York State Supreme Court confirms that the well-known American writer Meyer Levin was awarded $50,000 to be paid him by the father of Anne Frank as an honorarium for Levin's work on the Anne Frank diary. The whole thing's a hoax. Okay, it's a hoax. It's and it's weird to me that they banked the entire thing on this hoax book. And it's because the reason it's so important is because children, okay, right around like, I'm guessing 12, okay, they're going to take a bigger interest in the world around them. And you have to be ready with something at that moment. Okay, you got to seed this kernel of fake knowledge you got to sear it into their head early so that they just never question it. It just is held as fact for the rest of time through that generation and the next generation. And then you go, oh, I remember reading the Anne Frank diary when I was in school. That's a great book, isn't it? It's a hoax, and it's designed to play on your heartstrings and your emotions so that you feel sorry for her and you feel sorry for them and you feel like they're a victim group. Well, guess what? Soros is a Jew. The Rothschilds are Jewish. And I'm not saying everybody involved in this giant pyramid of destruction on the planet right now is Jewish, but a lot of the key players seem to have a very common thread behind them that connects them all. And it just happens to be that they are members of the Jewish tribe. I'm not even going to say Jewish faith, okay? Because if you're Jewish, this should piss you off just as much as it pisses me off as a Christian. We're on the same side. They do not have our interests at heart. And it sucks that they pit people against each other and they make it so you can't even talk about it. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to leave you with one last thing. And this is really important because this guy named Jordan Peterson just kind of got trapped with this on a question. But here's two different things. Jewish Holocaust versus the Ukrainian Holodomor. Now, everybody knows what the Holocaust means. It means burnt offering. That's why we got the ovens, whole meme. I think it's a meme at this point. Okay, it's just not true. Versus the Ukrainian Holodomor. Now, the Holodomor, this is kind of a new word that people are starting to pick up on. 10 million Ukrainians were starved to death, okay, by the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, which a lot of people say had a lot of Jewish leaders in it. So they're like, hey, that's kind of weird, and I'm not really comfortable implementing a double standard when I look at the histories of people. It's already happened. I don't think people now should be held accountable for this stuff regardless of what side they were on in the past or their ancestors were. It just doesn't seem to matter. And the fact that you got to create laws against mentioning this stuff just tells me you're covering it up. So go look up the Ukrainian Holodomor if you're interested. The other thing that I would think would be kind of telling is go look up the definitions of these two words, Holodomor versus the Holocaust. And I think those two things are very telling. What we would call the Jewish destruction versus the Ukrainian destruction, why we would name those two things different things. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And keep up the good fight. Keep paying attention.